please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please have a roll call.
Supervisor Alexavian?
Yes.
Trustee Dean
Present.
Morelli?
Here.
Trustee Greg Bickus?
Here.
Trustee Karen Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Denise Salvino?
Present.
Assessor Mary Williamson?
Here.
Highway Commissioner Jim Lounge?
Here.
Collector Jessica Kennedy, absent. Attorney Gary Miller.
Present.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of February 11, 2025, which also includes the minutes for February 26, 2025. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Salvino,
A second.
second by Karen Johnson. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on, do we have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to road and bridge fund? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to the Highway Commissioner's report. Commissioner Lounge, the floor is yours.
No report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Having no other business, if I could entertain a motion to adjourn the road and bridge fund meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Salvino,
Second.
A second.
second by Greg Bickus. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Road and bridge fund meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Moving on now to the town fund meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of February 11, 2025, which also includes the minutes for February 26, 2025. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Salvino,
Second.
second by Greg Bickus. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Bills. Bills this month I have in the amount of $30,269.94. I will need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Denise Salvino,
Second.
second by Greg Bickus. Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, could I please have a roll call?
Bickus?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Salvino?
Yes.
Sapien?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Motion carries. Do we have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to the town fund? All right, hearing none, move on to the clerk's report. Madam Clerk, the floor is yours.
Okay. The clerk's office has been very busy in the past month. Many FOIA requests have been coming in. Notary services and baby diaper distribution has been daily. Jessica and I have also been working on plans for the community fund day. I will be filing the budgets with the Will County Clerk. The annual town meeting is April 8th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at the Lockpor Township building. There were no agenda items received for the annual town meeting. In your packet is the annual town agenda for approval. Once approved, I will post the agenda in 3 public places and publish it in the Joliet Herald News 15 days prior. Board members, a reminder to file your statement of economic interest by May 1st, 2025. Everyone should have received an email on that. Early voting for the upcoming 2025 consolidated April 1st, 2025 election will take place at the Lockpor Township Government Building from March 17th to March 29th. And then you can also see here is the annual town meeting agenda. Everyone can take a look at that. Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 at the hour of 6:30 p.m. at the Lockport Township Government, 1463 South Zero Road, Lockport, Illinois, 60441. And as I did state, there is no agenda items. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions on the annual town meeting agenda? All right, hearing none, if I could entertain a motion to approve the annual town meeting agenda.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Greg Bickus,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, do we have any comments or suggestions from the trustees tonight? Hearing none, we'll move on to the building report. All right, so as far as the new garage, I included a quick little update from senior maintenance in the packets. We won't have senior maintenance here present tonight. The changes here were pretty simple from when we last met back in our February 11th meeting. But just to go over briefly the updates, is we did receive a certificate of occupancy or compliance from the city of Lockport earlier in February. The contractor known as Action One did remove their construction trailer as well as their excavator, again, earlier this month, or early, in the past week. The garage door exterior keypads will be programmed and installed tomorrow, as well as the garage door openers. The locks for the utility doors will be installed later this week. The shelving that we approved last month will be set up again later this month. And the bobcat or the excavator is still on site. The only item left to complete this project now is the final grading and seeding of the area, and that is pending weather. I know they tried last week, but the ground is just far too frozen to see anything yet. So that is the pending item on the punch list. Further updates. So I spoke with the contractor, senior maintenance, and I spoke with the contractor last week, and I was very clear with them, saying there's about 10% left as retained, so 58,000. And so per the contract, payment is not to be given to the contractor until the punch list items are completed. So at this moment, again, there's only one item left on the punch list. What I leave is a potential option for the board, but again, I open this up for discussion, is again, this is pending weather, and they could put in the seeding as early as next week, as early as in 2 days. We really don't know. It's unpredictable. So we could wait to approve the final invoice. I know it says 3rd until April, but the next meeting will be until April 7th. Or again, as an option, we could approve it today, but then not give them any check until they complete the last item on the punch list, which again, could be well before April. So for that, I open it up to discussion with the board.
Has he made any corrections to the way the drainage is in the back? I don't think he could have.
So here, I have some images here. So the contractor provided images, right, and they're, again, very confident that they have the pitch correct and everything.
Okay.
So I did mention to the contractor, again, we met with him earlier in February, and so I brought up the idea of digging it up.
Did he look at the blueprints to see how it's supposed to be?
Correct.
Is it match that?
According to him, yes.
Okay.
So according to him, right? And so I did bring up to him, right, hey, the board is interested in potentially, digging up, matching into the laser. He said, sure, I can do that. He said, I matched everything with the contract, what the blueprint said. I did what the architect told me. He said, I provided all these pictures, I provided evidence. I'm happy to dig this up, but at the end of the day, I had to match exactly what the architect did. So theoretically, if the architect gave me wrong numbers, I'm still required to match it.
Okay.
Now, he said, I'm happy to excavate it, but I'm going to charge you. And I said, okay, well, let me get back to the board.
That's why I wanted the blueprints here, so I can show everybody. I don't have a copy of the blueprints printed out to show everybody. But the way the drainage comes out back, it's supposed to come out and splash onto the ground. The way I saw it when it was frozen is the pipe comes out underground and it has a area drain there that the water's supposed to come up and out of. And underneath that, he said he put rocks so the water would go into the ground. But when I went there, the area drain was full of ice. So that meant our whole pipe was full of ice underground there because the water had nowhere to go. It can't come down, water has to go by gravity. So it can't come up out of there and go across the ground. It stays in the ground. And it was maybe 10 degrees out at that point. So the frost goes down up to 48 inches in this weather. So if that's frozen, no water is going to go through that pipe.
And you're saying this is correct even if there is a downward pitch?
If it's downward pitch, but the pipe stays underground where it ends, so it can't come up out of the ground. So basically what you have is the end of the pipe goes into a drain. This is I'm going to try and show you guys. This would be the pitch of the ground. The pipe goes underground goes into what, a well here, and this is like an area drain. He has rocks underneath it, so all this pipe is full of water. When it freezes, that pipe's gonna crack, and we're gonna have problems going forward. It's not how the architect has drawn it on the plans.
Gotcha.
This pipe's supposed to come out at grade, not under grade. It's supposed to end at grade.
Would it still have that trap there with the gravel underneath it?
Well, he only dug that big of a hole, how much, there's gonna be a lot of water coming off that roof, it's gonna sit in that hole and freeze.
And the architect drew it up different, but
The architect drew it up, so
couldn't be ground level.
the pipe would come across, exit the ground, and they would have a, I'm not sure exactly the name of it, the piece of, it's like a piece of concrete, then splash block, and then the pipe is at the end. I'm sure you've seen them in culverts.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, the depth of the pipe is.
I'm not sure exactly if
The
the,
bottom, right?
no, well, I'm not, I think that the pipe is too deep. It's got, it may have pitch to it the whole way, but I think the pipe is too deep. So it's, the pitch is making it go, stay underground there. And I haven't gone out there with a laser, I don't have a laser at my disposal right now.
Okay, so it sounds like we have a couple more things to talk about with the contractor. It seems like it's just this little bit. And I do have the blueprints, again, they're in maintenance's office. I'd be happy to get those first thing tomorrow morning. Trustee Dickus, given this is your area of expertise, would you be receptive again to?
If we set up a meeting with him, with the general contractor, and he could bring a laser out to measure the height of that pipe, and that it's according to the plans, then I'd be glad to go over that with him.
Okay. So I had sent you an email last week about setting up a meeting. Is it okay if I text you? I'll give you a call, maybe we can set it up a little bit quicker.
Okay.
All right, well, in that case, we'll just go ahead and table then.
Another concern I had is, we did pass an ordinance, regarding contractors, and it states in our ordinance that the contractor is to have training for the employees or apprentices. Has he submitted any proof of that? Is he in the union?
Yeah, so we do have all of the documents, and in fact, the unions are actually out here, communicating with the contractor, and they agreed that everything was in agreement with the ordinance. But at the same time, because this project though, did go out to bid before the ordinance, it's the previous rules apply.
Okay.
Again, just to reiterate, I think for this invoice, we'll just table it till April, and then I'll discuss the change order a little bit. If I could entertain a motion to table the final invoice of the new garage.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Aldino,
Second.
second by Greg Bickus. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion is tabled. All right, moving on now to the next point of business, we have the change order. So I'll give everyone a moment to dig through their packets. So past the agenda, past the certificate of compliance, past the garage update, I have a packet here called new garage change order. As well as some attachments, but I want to give everyone a quick little update. So recall that at the February 11th meeting, there were about 6 change orders total that needed to be approved. We as a board agreed to approve 5 out of the 6. The only one that was not approved was the very first change order, which was the rerouting of the electrical, gas, and water line. And so just to recap, again, it was during excavation in November, it was discovered these lines need to be rerouted immediately for the city. The city inspector did approve the changes made by the contractor. The contractor provided what he proclaimed to be an itemized change order. And then I then requested a further receipt, and he provided a plumbing subcontractor receipt for $3,800, They then mentioned that the remaining costs to go up to the 6,500 was mainly excavation, labor, and materials. So per the board's discussion on February 11th, we did table the change order until further discussion with the contractor. So I, as well as senior maintenance, met with the contractor and owner on February 19th. And so I opened up further conversation. So for the contractor, and I have a little design here. Bear with me though, it is very bare bones. And everyone should have this in their packet as well. But the contractor showed us that it said, hey, out of the old existing garage, there's these 3 lines coming out, and towards the building. But they cut through what would have been the foundation of this new garage. And so, when they were digging, they cut through one of the lines, and then the city explained they have to be rerouted immediately. Now, per the city though, and again, per the contractor, at least according to the contractor, it's given how they cut through the new garage, whether they would have done a survey beforehand or not, they would have had to reroute it, right? They would have had to chop off this portion here and reroute it as they did. So, per them, there wasn't any additional charge given any damage. They had to replace that line anyways. And once again, according to them, since they took care of all the excavation and materials, it actually would have come out cheaper as opposed to, again, having someone come out and do a survey and then having the plumber subcontract do it all on their own. So, again, according to the contractor, they did the work that was required, and the city mandated the changes on an expedited basis and approved the final job. Do you have any questions on this change order?
As a contractor, I would refer to the contract documents, which state that it is the responsibility of the person performing the work to locate these lines or any other obstructions prior to. So there was a way to locate these lines. There is a gas lines are able to be located by using location devices to locate underground lines.
Okay.
So this is not, it shouldn't have been a surprise to him. This was underneath the foundation.
Right. And that's a good point, but from a cost perspective, again, I'm bringing up what the contractor said, is whether it was done, via survey or it was hit, the cost would have been the same for the contractor. Does anyone have any thoughts? Again, I know we've kind of discussed this change order and tabled it for several months. I think at this point we've received a lot of information. I don't know if at this point it's just a matter of differing opinions or if there's any other possible documentation that could be asked for here.
The lines had to be moved one way or the other, whether they were damaged and or surveyed, is what you're saying.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the change order.
A motion by Dean Morale,
I'll second.
second by Karen Johnson. Madam Clerk, please have a roll call.
Johnson?
Yes.
Salvino? Yes. Sapien?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Fickus?
No.
Motion carries. Moving on now to new business. So the Community Mental Health Project, again, it's March 3rd, so I haven't received a report for February. Usually we get them March 5th. I am including, though, a report, what would have been in February's meeting, but our usual point of contact was on vacation, so we got it about a day late. I'm providing it here. So this is for the month of January, going into February. You'll see that our invoice is around the same as average, so $10,253, and the remaining grant balance of $6,900. Now, I will get an invoice for the month of February, the last month of the fiscal year, likely later this week, or I will receive it later this week. Now, we'll be due then to deposit additional funds. Now, if I want to remind the board that we have additional funds we approved in the budget and general assistance in the amount of $100,000. Now, coincidentally, the contract we have with Thriveworks, or the MOU, is up for renewal / expires in May, which again coincidentally agrees with the new term for the new incoming administration. So what I would propose to the board is, we want to leave enough money for, to pay for February and March and potentially April, but no more than that, right? I'm not going to deposit the full 100 in case the board coming in May decides they don't want to pursue the project. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. We'll move on to newsletters. Update on the newsletters, I did approve the final draft last Wednesday. I discussed with the vendor today, and for the bidding contract, they will commit to be delivered to the post office this Friday. So we should see the newsletters as early next week in everyone's mailbox.
And what was the date on the last one that just went out? It seems like they just sent one out.
Early December, first week of December. All right, update on scholarships. So for anyone that reviewed their scholarships, if you could drop off the rubric or send it to someone from my office again later tonight. If you need an extension of a day or two, or even another 2 days, just please let my office know so we know to expect it. But we will need to send out the winners to the schools sometime next week. And then the schools will announce the winners in a ceremony that they have starting in April and May, and then the township will award the winners in June. Questions about the scholarship? And then we'll move on to old business. So, there was a Lockpor State of the City on February 18th, and then upcoming is the Wilmington State of the Village on Thursday, March 20th. And we've already purchased tickets. I know we reached out to several of you, and I know many of us are in attendance. No meeting or correspondence. Any final questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, if I can entertain a motion to adjourn the town meeting.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Denise Salvino,
Second.
second by Greg Vickers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The town meeting is adjourned. We now move on to the senior fund. So for senior fund, first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of February 11th, 2025, which includes minutes for February 26th, 2025. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Salvino,
A second?
second by Greg Vickers. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bills. I have bills in the amount of $131.05. I will need a motion for the bills.
Make that motion.
Motion by Greg Vickers,
I'll second.
second by Denise Salvino. Questions on the bills? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please have a roll call.
Salvino? Yes. Sapien?
Yes.
Morelli?
Yes.
Vickers?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Do we have any citizens wishing to address the board tonight in regards to the senior fund? Hearing none. Bus report and new business. So bus report, February was a pretty short month. We had only 469 trips total, but there was only 18 business days in February, so we still averaged out the usual average rides per day, about 26.1. Now, given that there's only 2 months in a current sample, it brought down the average rides per month down to 506, down from 542, but again, we still have 10 more months in the year. Questions? All right, hearing none, I have no other business. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn the senior fund meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dennis Salvino,
Second.
second by Greg Vickers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Senior fund meeting is adjourned. Last agenda for the night, general assistance. I have approval of minutes for the monthly meeting of February 11, 2025, which includes February 26, 2025. I will need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dennis Salvino,
Second.
second by Greg Vickers. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no bills this month. Do we have any citizens wishing to address the board today in regards to general assistance? Hearing none, move on to the GA report. So for GA, again, February was a short month. We only had 4 applications come in. One at the time of creating the report was in process. 3 were not eligible for general assistance, but those 3 were eligible for emergency assistance. Grant total was $2,400. You'll notice it's not on the bills list because those bills were paid at the 26th meeting when it was recessed. The last page is grant disbursements. You'll see it says total disbursed is $1,700. The reason for the $700 discrepancy is because one of the grants for $700 was paid for on a credit card because of a housing emergency. And so the grant was approved, but then the bill will be paid in the upcoming month. Hence the discrepancy. Any questions on the report? All right, no other business. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn the general assistance meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Denise Salvino,
Second.
second by Greg Vickus. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.